Hi, I'm Toya Brasky from Galveston, Texas. My Facebook and X account is Galveston Psychic Paranormal Researcher. I'm also under Toya Brasky on Facebook. Well, have you ever been afraid to get a message from your doctor? That's what I'm going through this week. My anxiety level is so extreme this week that I can barely sleep. Every time I hear my phone ding, I have anxiety and I feel like I'm hyperventilating, or at times during the day, I feel like I can't breathe. I'm so afraid of finding out the results of my uterine biopsy and then my upcoming breast biopsy. It's normal to have fear. I really hope with everything in me that all of this worry has been for nothing, that I turn out to be one of the 80%, the really lucky ones that have biopsies and then it turns out to be benign findings, something easily treated, and I can get this behind me. I really hope that that's the case. I have felt this whole week like it's hard to talk about what I'm going through because it's something that is so scary. Like, not because I'm afraid of dying. I'm not afraid of that part of it. If they said that I had cancer and that I was terminal, you know that I am a psychic, a true psychic. I've always believed in an afterlife, and I don't just believe it, I know it. From my work with spirits, there is no way that you can sit in a room, turn on a recorder, and there is nothing in the room with you, and you can have intelligent conversations with something invisible in the room. There is an afterlife, and I believe that the minute that your body dies, your physical body dies, your spirit just releases itself out of the body, literally just steps out, and it is more alive than it ever has been. It is healthy, it is eternal. So death is not scary to me at all. I am afraid of being diagnosed with a terminal illness or a chronic illness like cancer that would drain me financially, that would make me very sick for months or years, to suffer like that. Those are the things that I'm afraid of. I'm afraid financially that I would have to struggle and struggle and struggle. I think about things like I have pets. I don't have children, but I have pets. So there's a lot of decisions that you have to make if you're told that you're going to go through a major illness or crisis like that. Again, I hope that all these videos that I've made worrying myself to death turn out to be absolutely unwarranted, where I get good news. I hope I get good news. I hope they call me and they say that there were no cancer findings on any of your biopsies. I am aware that even if these conditions are benign, in the case of my breast, I will still need breast surgery because my old mastectomy implants ruptured. They are in my chest right now, but they have ruptured and they are leaking in my chest. So it is a absolute fact that I have to have surgery to remove those and probably replace those implants. So my breasts right now are my natural breasts because the silicone has completely flattened and leaked out. um, I will still probably have to have lumpectomies for some of the masses that are in my breasts because they're quite large and they're also painful. I will still have to have cysts in my breasts aspirated. The condition of my uterus is that I have thickened endometrium, which is the lining of your uterus. And in a postmenopausal woman, the lining of her uterus does not need to be thick anymore because she's not in childbearing age anymore. So a woman who is in childbearing age would have a thickened endometrial every month, and then she would shed it because that's part of the stages of pregnancy and things like that. Well, in a postmenopausal woman, that lining is no longer needed. So that lining would be shedded and it would be very thin. But if you're a postmenopausal, that lining should not be over 4 millimeters. Anything over 4 millimeters gives the suspicion of hyperplasia, which can turn into cancer if it's not treated, or that you're already in endometrium cancer or uterine cancer. And in my case, I have a thickened uterus of 9 millimeters. And I'm also having vaginal bleeding, which is not normal for a postmenopausal woman. So because of those two concerns, I had to have a biopsy on my uterus. It was very painful to go through. The cramping of having something inserted into your uterus to take biopsies is very extreme. I've never been pregnant. I've never been dilated or anything like that until my uterine biopsy. It was something that I would never want to go through again. Now, I've been told that even if that is not cancer, that I will still have to have a surgical correction of the endometrium lining because it cannot stay in its thickened condition the way that it is, because that type of abnormality, if it's not cancer now, could very easily turn into cancer or other serious complications. So I have 2 surgeries coming up. I don't know if it's going to be something like benign or cancerous, but at least for those surgeries, I will be put under anesthetic. It won't be as barbaric as having the uterine biopsy without any topical anesthetic or being put to sleep. That was quite terrible. I'm having the breast biopsies on April the 28th. And what they told me about that is that they will put topical lidocaine on both breasts to numb the skin. And then they will insert lidocaine needles into my breast to numb the inside of my breast. And then there will be ultrasound technicians that will guide the ultrasound wand over my breast to show where the masses are. And there's quite a few of them. There's like 10 to 20 in my breast. And then that way, another technician will be inserting needles to grasp tissue from each of those masses. And so I thought that this would be really quick. I thought that as soon as they knew that my mastectomy implants had ruptured, I would be put in the hospital and they would just take out these implants, put in new ones, and I would be fine and this would be over. That's not what happened. It turned into a very complicated thing where this has been all the way March through April. I've been back and forth to the doctors, the hospital, because when they found multiple masses in my breast, three different scans, and confirmed that on 3 different scans, that meant that I can't just have a simple implant exchange. Now they have to worry about the complications of so many masses. So now I need a specialty surgeon or a surgeon specialist, a plastic surgeon, and I'm also going to need a gynecological surgeon. So 3 different surgeons are going to have to consult each other, work on my case, and it's become quite complicated. I never thought that I would be pulled into this kind of mess, but here I am. There's nothing I can do but just wait. I'm scared. It's only going to be Wednesday tomorrow morning. I wish that I could I wish I never had to even look at the results of what my biopsy is going to be, because I'm so scared to read it. But I know if I get that phone call that says come to the office, I already know it means something terrible. So I'm scared every time the phone rings. I'm scared every time I hear a ding on my phone for a message. But I like to tell you something funny at the end of my story. So, you know that I've always told you that doing this work is not just communicating with good spirits. Anytime you indulge in any type of occult or paranormal work, you are going to meet both types of spirits. There are good ones and there are absolutely evil ones. So, I often get EVPs from demonic spirits. I also have had EVPs from aliens. Well, about a week ago, right before, spirits know everything that is going on in your life. So demonic spirits like to chime in to try to scare me about my procedures that are coming up or something. And so they knew that I had a uterine biopsy coming up. So I was recording one day and a demonic spirit came on and it said, you're pregnant. You're pregnant with my demon child. That's what's going to come up on the uterine biopsy. You have a demonic child. I've impregnated you. Okay. So my thoughts on that were, yeah, right. I never take these demons seriously. I'm always like, yeah, right, whatever, because they say the craziest stuff. So I don't let them get to me. I just kind of joke back like, oh yeah, well, whatever. So, interestingly, when I went for my uterine biopsy. It's standard that they have to take a pregnancy test. So they didn't tell me they were doing a pregnancy test, but one of the test results that popped up was a negative pregnancy test. And I was like, see, demon, you did not impregnate me. I'm not pregnant. I've never been pregnant. In fact, they tested me and there's never been any hormone in my body to show I've ever been pregnant. So the demon is a liar. The other thing is they don't always tell you, but they do test you to see if you have any kind of STDs, any type of venereal diseases and things like that. So I didn't even know they were testing me for that. I thought that by accident they were dinging me because my uterine biopsy had come back, and I was terrified. So I opened one of the emails and it says, we tested you for HPV. There's 40 different variations, and yours is completely negative. You don't have any kind of tie to anything like that. There were no venereal diseases whatsoever, so I'm clean. This is a good thing. So now all I have to worry about is cancer. So anyway, wish me well. Hopefully, there is a fly in here every summer. Every summer, I have to deal with these flies. Please, if the government can do anything, please eradicate these flies. I am so mad that I'm trying to make a serious video and there is a fly just like going crazy, zooming around my head right now. And that just... that just teased me off, because I'm like, I have done everything. I sprayed the porch. I put out a bag that has citrus oil on it, trying to keep them away. But you know how they are. They just, you open the door and they just fly in. So anyway, if you see me doing this a lot, it's because he's around. It's probably that demonic spirit has possessed the fly and they know that I'm over here talking about them. So they just decided to annoy me. Anyway, have a good night and have a wonderful weekend this weekend. I'll let you know how this goes, and I hope that I'm able to tell you good news that there was no cancer found. In fact, I have a pap smear and I have a uterine biopsy that I'm waiting for the results for. And then my breast biopsy will not be done until the end of the month on the 28th. And then sometimes the results for that can take at least a week to come back. So I won't know about that until the first week of May. Anyway, good night.